Sir, please identify yourself.
Absolutely. Mr. Chairman, members, Darrell Purpera, Legislative Auditor, I come just provide information that may or may not be important to your deliberations. Back in the fall, I directed my auditors to perform a performance audit on the board. Immediately, the board informed us that they would not give us all of the records of the board, specifically the investigation files. And we met with the board attorneys, and we all decided that the board would file a, quote, friendly lawsuit against my office, asking for declaratory judgment. That judgment was rendered by the 19th Judicial District Court in January. Judge Caldwell ordered the board to provide all of the records to my office. They still have not done so, but now they've appealed to the First Circuit. I understand working through the legal process, but as you know, the Louisiana law 24513, with the exception of the tax records that you dealt with the other day, all the records of the state and government are available to my office for examination. My job is to look at these programs, see if they're working like they're supposed to work. I can't do so without the records.
Thank
so
you.
Just bring that to your information.
Yes.
He made a comment that he requested some information so that he can do an investigation to see if due process was being followed. And the board refused to give that information, and the judge ruled that y'all needed to give the information. Can you elaborate on it?
We have particular files such as DEA 6 files, other federal government files, and criminal background check records that we are told by the FBI and other federal agencies that they are protected and cannot be copied and taken out of our office. The judge in the circuit court here in Baton Rouge ruled that the criminal background checks were protected and we did not have to give them to them. However, the DEA, when preparing for the beginning of the audit, we notified the DEA that we would be letting them copy and take these files. And the DEA told us under no circumstance could we do that, or they could no longer work with us. We tried to meet with Mr. Purpera, and Mr. Purpera said, we can't meet, you have to give us everything. So we, on advice of the governor, we appeared before the Legislative Audit Oversight Committee. And they have instructed their attorney to work with the DEA and other federal partners to resolve this issue. But we still, in order to not lose our rights, because we haven't heard any definite answer from Ms. Jennifer Shea, we are proceeding on with protecting our rights through the appeal. Again, it's just a matter of, we were ready to
working on it. Okay.
We're working on it, and we have provided all the other information that they've given. We've tendered an offer that they could read our files, and where we reference the DEA or other federal files, we would show them to them, but they just couldn't copy them and remove them.
Okay.
But they said, no, that's not satisfactory, so that's what we're trying to resolve, sir.
Final question.
Quick answer. Could you do the audit? I mean, you weren't allowed to do the audit. Could you do the audit in their office?
I can't do the audit at all. I can't get to the investigative file, so I couldn't do the audit at all. So the board originally told us they did not feel like the VA, US HHS, and the DEA would want their records for the auditor to be able to look at their records.
And what did you get?
We've already worked through the issues with the US HHS and also the VA. We're also talking to the DEA, and we believe we'll be able to work that out also.
So you can do the audit in their office?
If I can get to the records, I can do the audit, yes, sir.
So it's not about not being able to take them with you, to make copies and take with you, but to leave it in the office.
Well, the law is very clear that the legislative auditor can look at the records and make copies. The law is also very clear. 24513I is the site that whatever confidentiality the records are in their office, I take them with the same level of confidentiality. We do that with every state agency. If my auditors go to a health clinic, we look at the records.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, before our legislative auditor leaves, I thought if I understood correctly from Dr. Collada, he's saying that 3 external agencies are preventing or objecting to the auditor looking at the records of the Louisiana Medical Board, and I maybe legislative auditor Purpera could. I thought you were saying that.
Well, that was what I'm referring to. Is my understanding is that they did not want to provide us the records because They believe the VA, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the DEA would not allow their records to be seen by the legislative auditor.
And what was the rate? What did you find out?
The U.S. Health and Human Services and the VA have both given us letters saying they don't have a problem with that. We're working with the DEA right now to do the same thing.
I just want to make it perfectly clear where we are in the process. We have offered our investigative files to be reviewed. We are cooperating with the legislative auditor as they request information on a regular basis. And we have offered them the right to view, to confirm what is in our investigative files. We have offered them the investigative files. Because of the letter that the DEA sent us not to give them, because of the peer review from the Veterans Administration that we're advised not to give them, we're awaiting the resolution of what we should do with those files. And it's in the process, and we trust that it's working fine. However, we're also proceeding on with the appeals at the same time.
In other words, they haven't turned over a single piece of paper. And that was a really long answer, Dr. Collada.
That is
Well, that's not exactly appropriate.